Welcome to the latest podcast by FMI, Financial Management. My name is Marlana Lancaster, a financial advisor here. Alongside me today is another guest speaker. David is away, so the kids are still at play. And so with me today is an associate advisor, Caleb Snider. Welcome, Caleb.
Thanks for having me.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
So far, so good. It's a Monday. It's 90 degrees outside, and it's summertime's getting toasty.
It is.
How long have you been with us now, Caleb?
So we're coming up on a year in June.
I've had you here for a year, at least for months now. So it's good.
Yeah, I think the second or third month you started saying I've been here for a year.
It feels like it. One of the things you hear us talk about is our culture and our office and our team. And you've been a huge benefit and a huge attribute. You fit the culture perfectly and you care about people. And so I love that. So I just wanted to personally say thank you for joining us and you've done a great job.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Now I get to drill you. Tell us, or tell the audience, a little bit about yourself and your upbringing.
Okay. So I was born in Southwest Virginia, in a little town called Rural Retreat. It's in Wythe County.
So, all right. So, I have to stop you already on this. Nobody knows where this is, but there might be a claim to fame. So if nobody's heard of Rural Retreat, surely they have heard of
Dr. Pepper.
Okay. So Dr. Pepper was founded.
He was a pharmacist in Rural Retreat, and there's some local legend that he created the drink and then it was stolen. And I think Dr. Pepper very heavily disputes that as a company, or Snapple, I guess. But they stick to the Texas origins, and so.
Do you drink Dr. Pepper?
Probably not my go-to if I'm having a soda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Rural Retreat. Back to your upbringing and what got you here.
Yeah. So I just kind of grew up in a small town. Not really anything crazy. I played sports in high school. I actually wrestled. Not a lot of people would look at me and guess that, and that's okay.
Smooth ears. That's true.
Yeah. And so I went to college, went to Marshall University. I was there for 3 years and graduated with a degree in economics and finance. And after that, started working at a bank called First Bank and Trust. I was there for a little while, about a year and a half, and then COVID hit, and I got married in 2020. And that brought me to the Valley. And with that, I started working at another wealth management firm for another year and a half or so, then made my way back to the bank where I eventually got licensed, and kind of began my journey as a financial advisor. Was there a couple more years and then landed here.
Okay. So it's interesting. You said economics. I think we had this conversation recently. I have a minor in economics, and I have said a couple times that I feel like it personally shaped me more for this industry than anything else. We have a new intern that just started today. And so I've talked to him over the years and actually suggested he always take economics classes. But what led you specifically to financial planning? Is that prevalent in Rural Retreat, Virginia, or?
It's not, and it's that area is probably underserved in a lot of ways. It's a great place, but yeah. So financial planning, I think I've always just wanted to help people in some way or another. To me, I started out as a chemistry major in school. That lasted for about 3 classes.
Explains a few things.
It was terrible. Then I kind of did some soul searching, bounced around, and in between majors. I think I was a history major for a semester or so. Always been fascinated by history, but started looking at opportunities after college, and I was like, well, maybe I'll try out business, right? So that kind of led me. I took an economics course, just kind of trying things out, and kind of fell in love with that. I wanted to focus on economics initially, and realized that I didn't need too many more classes to get the finance double major. So I went ahead and tagged that on and kind of fell in love with that too. But through it all, I was considering how can I use this in a way that's actually going to help people, not necessarily just working for a company, kind of I guess a number, a cog in the machine, I guess. What can I do that's actually going to make an impact? And very quickly that led me to financial planning, financial advising, and how I can use that to help people in a very practical way. People's finances, it's one of the most personal things in their lives. There's a lot of emotion tied to it. It really does dictate a lot of your life. So just kind of led me to explore, what does that look like? How do you get into that career? How do you go from college graduate to financial advisor at 21, 22 years old? And the quick answer is you don't. There's a lot of steps in between.
You don't have near enough gray in your hair yet. That's right.
Exactly. Yeah. That's, I've heard that several times actually. But it'll come. And so, yeah, that's kind of what has led me here.
Okay. I appreciate that. And you are one of the calmest people that I've met. We give you that here in this office, that you're incredibly calm, you're incredibly patient, and money is emotional. So it's really important for you to have that demeanor. So a couple questions, none of which have I prefaced you with. Who needs a financial advisor?
I think everyone does. You're going to go through a lot of stages of life, and nearly every single one of them will involve your finances. The sooner that you have someone who you can talk things over with, the better off you are. We all make mistakes with our money at some point in our lives, but if you can mitigate those mistakes from the start, you're gonna get a lot further.
How much money do I have to talk to you?
We don't have minimums. There's really no amount. I mean, we're always open to answer questions, just to give you an idea of how to get started, saving, and there's certainly no minimums.
Okay. Yeah. Is there a certain age group you like working with, or have you had the most experience or success with?
Probably the most experience with younger investors, most success so far in my career. I guess they're just drawn to me, I guess, being a younger face, and I can relate a little with them and where they're at in life. But I also really like working with older people. It's a lot of fun, and I tend to get along with older people pretty well. So,
all right. So a couple questions. Let's go back to the younger people. Could you give any rules of thumb or any guidance? It's somebody that's 25, 30, 35 years old. They're working and they are let's say they have a 401k or a employer retirement plan. How much should a young person save? And can you save too much?
If it starts to draw away and you're taking on debt to pay for for expenses, you're certainly saving too much on the side. I think a good target is 15%, and for a lot of people that's hard to get to immediately. It may not be something that you start out day one and you're contributing 15% to your 401k, or however you want to break it down in retirement savings, but 15% is a good target. Things are getting more expensive. Inflation is continuing to climb. It's always looming out there. And I think that number might have been closer to 10% a few years ago, but I think 15 is a good target now.
What's a minimum? If I have a retirement plan at work, what's the absolute minimum I have to contribute?
At least get your match. That's free money. They're just giving it away.
Okay, so let's say I have a job. I work at a local factory and I have a 401k that has a 6% match. What if I only want to do the 6% in the 401k? Then what? Where else? What are some other places I could possibly save?
So you get your match, and then outside of that, you can look at non-qualified accounts. That's going to be sort of like a checking or a savings account, in that you're not getting any tax ramifications. The money's not locked up until a certain age. It's strictly something that you can move money in and out of freely, but you can invest it in the market. or in bonds if that's the stage of life that you're in. So just another type of investment account.
I keep hearing about this thing called a Roth IRA.
Mm-hmm.
What's a Roth IRA?
So a Roth IRA is a type of retirement account. It's funded with after-tax dollars. So you've already paid the tax on your contributions that you've put in. So you don't get any kind of deduction on your income for the year. The neat thing about a Roth is that the money's going to grow tax-free until you withdraw it from that account. So, specifically looking at younger investors, if you can start contributing to a Roth IRA at 25 years old, the money's got 40 years of growth. That's going to be completely tax-free. And that really starts to move the needle when you look out 4 decades.
It's huge. So is the growth any different inside of let's say a 401k, a Roth IRA, or this non-qualified account you're talking about? Is there any difference in the growth?
The growth, no. Assuming they're all in the same investment strategy, growth is not going to be any different. It's all on the tax ramifications while it's in the account, and then while it's out of when you pull it out of the account.
Yeah, so it's interesting. We've run into this a couple of times, working with clients, working with young people, and they hear open a Roth IRA, so they go open a Roth IRA. That's ROTH is how that's spelled. IRA, individual retirement account. So your name, your social. So they open it and they put money in it, and then that's it. So to add on to what you said, it's important to actually invest the money within that Roth IRA or within that 401k. Without saying specifically, let's say they're young and they've got 40 years for growth. How aggressive should a young person be with their savings that are specific for retirement?
You should be very aggressive as you are able to be. Whatever your investment options are, whether it's through LPL or another firm, whatever the most aggressive fund you can be in. Ideally, it would be like a growth-based mutual fund, something along those lines. That's where you should be if you've got a long time horizon.
Okay. What else? What else is important to talk to young people about these days?
I think a lot of young people, they're looking at purchasing homes kind of in the age range that I'm at. I'm having a lot of conversations with friends that are, they just want to know how much they can afford.
You can tell people that? You can give them some guidance?
You can back into it more or less.
Okay.
Yeah. So ideally you wouldn't pay more than, depending on your stomach for it, maybe 30 to 35% of your household income, your monthly income on your mortgage.
I agree. David actually coached me in that in the beginning, and I so appreciated. He said your first payment is your most expensive. So when you buy a house, it's an asset that will appreciate. You have to live somewhere, which is expensive these days. But that first payment is your most expensive. Ideally, you get raises along the way, and your pay goes up along the way. So, so to restate that, I always give young people 30 to 35% of their net pay, their take-home pay. That should be it into their mortgage. And so that's your mortgage payment and your escrow, the taxes and insurance. But you can give people guidance on that?
Yes.
As an advisor?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, good. So we've been on the theme of young people. So is there any guidance for young people that you would give them? Yeah, any guidance?
Yeah, I think for young investors, the main thing is going to be consistency. Whether that's a monthly contribution or an annual goal of saving, consistency is going to be what takes your portfolio to the next level. It's time in the market that makes the big difference. And when you've got 40 or 30 plus years to be in the market, just continually adding to that account, making sure it's invested properly, it's going to make a huge difference when you get to that retirement age. So
you said something I want to add to it. You said time in the market. So we had this conversation with David not too long ago. But what about when the markets go down? Should I stop saving in the markets?
It's the best time to put into the market.
Okay. Buy low, sell high.
Yeah, exactly.
And time in the markets, not timing the markets.
Exactly.
Because there's some fun ones too. Yeah. All right. Before I let you go, you have a couple passions. Tell me at least two of your out of the office passions?
Okay. I'm very involved in my church. I think faith is my biggest passion. It's the centerpiece to my life, really. With that, one of the areas I'm involved is on our worship team. So I play guitar. Very, very passionate about that. I've played longer than I haven't played in my life. So that's always been a great hobby, a good way to de-stress. And then another big passion would be golf, which might be a way to stress.
Yes.
No, golf is great. It's hard. It's challenging. It's physically challenging. And it's very mentally challenging at the same time. So it's always good to get out on the course or at the driving range and work things out, figure things out, and always kind of push myself to keep lowering my score.
Right. And be strategic about it.
Very much.
And then you just started something very recently that hits close to home for me. How's CrossFit treating you?
4th workout complete today.
Yeah, boy.
And my legs are feeling it. They are so sore. But it's great. It was really intense this morning. Never really done rows before, but I did 2,000 meters of rows this morning, which before today I wouldn't have thought that was much.
Yeah.
After today, I don't want to do it again for a long time.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing about yourself. Thank you for sharing about your journey here with us. We're so excited for all that you bring, how much wisdom. For as young as you are full of wisdom, and I appreciate that, and you take great care of our clients. So thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great day, guys. Thanks so much.
The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision. There is no assurance that the techniques and strategies discussed are suitable for all investors or will yield positive outcomes. The purchase of certain securities may be required to affect some of the strategies. Investing involves risks, including possible loss of principal. Economic forecasts set forth may not develop as predicted, and there can be no guarantee that strategies promoted will be successful. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. Individual tax and legal matters should be discussed with your tax or legal professional. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA, SIPC.